Good afternoon. My name is Silvia Forni, ROM Senior Curator of Global Africa. I'm delighted you could join us for today's Curator's Conversation, a digital program that explores themes and subjects from ROM collections alongside industry professionals. I would like to take this opportunity to thank TD for their ongoing support of this program. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the ROM sits on what has been the ancestral land of the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Anishinaabe Nation, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, since time immemorial to today. Today's program celebrates Black History Month and the recently released commemorative coin paying tribute to the Underground Railroad by Toronto-based artist Kwame Delfish. Kwame is a classically trained painter, trained barber and hairstylist, and self-taught graphic artist. Throughout all the expressions of his work, Kwame aspires to be a storyteller. His stories are not limited by mediums, whether he's working on a head of hair, an easel, a sketch pad, or a computer screen, he approaches the surface as canvases, an opportunity to create beauty and convey his unique perspective. So, Kwame, why don't you join us? So, as we will get ready soon to have a conversation, I think just so our public knows what this amazing work that you just finished doing is all about, we'll just have a short video introducing the coin.
Cool. A wheel is continuous and a circle is continuous. So I figured if I can somehow change the perspective and create a coin that everywhere you looked on that coin, the perspective was kind of right, and your eyes will essentially do what was done over and over again. That was the thought behind that. To add my contribution to the celebration of Black history this year is amazing, and the beautiful thing about this is it's gonna last beyond just this month, and Black artists who don't always get the opportunities on certain platforms, it just kind of opens those doors or more doors for them. My experience with the Mint has honestly been great. Getting the opportunity to create has been, I couldn't ask for anything more. I'm just gonna live in this moment for now and enjoy this opportunity, and I'm excited to get one in my hands.
Wow. So why don't you tell us a bit more? That was a really nice production there, but as I mentioned introducing you, you are a multifaceted artist that really has a very broad range practice. And why don't you tell us a little bit, what are the unique challenges and opportunities of creating a coin? What were your thoughts and how did you go about making this happen?
Wow. Okay, well, it's a very it's a lot of ways to go about answering that question, but I'm gonna start with, like, there's so many challenges from size, just to even concept, and especially doing it during a pandemic, you're facing new challenges that normally you wouldn't have to face. So, one thing is I did have some experience from a previous coin that I did in 2015. So that challenge of developing or creating something very, very small in size, right? And knowing that the drawing you know, will still be readable as it gets to the side of the coin. That's something that's not that easy. You're constantly zooming, you know, thank God to thankfully technology, you know, you can zoom in and out very easily. But you know, you have to do that a lot when you're creating something like this. But this year, I could tell you, challenge that I faced was just reference and having to get out, not being able to get out. That was, I mean, when I got this project, it was in the height of the pandemic. I'm an artist that likes to draw from life. I like to get out and really see how, you know, people pose and interact, and I warm up like that. And during this time when this project was presented to me, I didn't have that option. So, you know, I became, and it was cool because it's something I've always wanted to do, and just get into character and jump into character of something I'm creating, because essentially I know how I want it to look, and just really, you know, I guess, you know, getting down like that and understanding the characters and the moods that had to be created and capturing that. And that's what I essentially did for this. So, you know, that just, you know, there's challenges in every project that we do. Unfortunately, you know, fortunately, the coin is also a, you know, project with a lot of process, with a long process, a lot of steps involved. So it's not just about my drawing. You have to now add this 3-dimensional component. Someone then takes that drawing and now has to, you know, bring this drawing really to life, and put in the folds of the fabric and the blades of grass and the trees, and all those levels just have to be figured out and built up upon. And that's something that I also incorporate in the artwork that I do. So, you know, I wish that I had the time to like jump into carving as well, you know, like, you know, jump into every process, but no, that's not how it works. But I appreciate the work that's done after to really bring these illustrations to life, and just understanding that entire process, you know, and wanting to understand that entire process kind of makes those challenges really easy to overcome.
You were saying that you like to draw from life and you were stuck in your house. So who modeled for your drawing?
Okay, so I used myself and pretty much my family. And you know, I even had some friends that I was like, you know what, like, you know, you always wear that hat, like, you know, put on that hat. Let me see that hat, and like under that light, like go under a light, and let me just see how it, you know, and just really just seeing, like, you know, how getting that I guess you want to say, everyone has a certain characteristic that they own, you know, and sometimes you're not able to create that, and you just, you know, when you have these characters in your mind, you really just think of sometimes these people. So thankfully, again, technology allows you to reach these people very easily. So you know, I did call home, and you know, I got the wife and daughter to pose, and they did their thing. So you know, that was pretty dope.
It's a family coin in a way.
Yeah. And, you know, it was just a thing of like, you know, just really just bringing community into drawings and stuff that I do, right? So so yeah, that's what's up.
Great. So kind of moving along this line, You are a very eclectic artist that draws inspiration from a variety of different sources, but there's kind of a line that goes throughout your work in which you always try to imbue beauty in things that sometimes are thought of as utilitarian, or hairstyles, or not necessarily, although you practice as a painter, you have a very eclectic practice, and you also come from a very artistic family. So how does this upbringing have influenced your practice, and what do you think, or what are the things that mostly inspires you and fire you up as an artist?
Well, sorry, can you repeat the last part again? Sorry.
What are the things, where do you draw your inspiration, having grown also in this very artistic milieu in your family?
Yeah, no, it like, because the reason I ask is because you can't, it's just not one place. My inspiration just comes from being a product of a very artistic and also competitive environment. We really pushed ourselves in the house. I come from like 7 brothers and sisters, and we really pushed ourselves in the house to really just at everything that we did, and challenged ourselves in different artistic mediums and activities all the time, and just watching our parents also be creatives themselves. That was huge for me. My dad kind of like, there's nothing really that, he couldn't do or build for himself, as simple as, going home and saying to me, nah, we're not going to stop for McDonald's. I can make those chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? It was just, my mom was heavily involved in the schools, and there was a school play. She made the costumes and stuff for a lot of the schools. So I grew up in a very creative environment. My sister's a dancer, so that got me into drumming, and drumming took me all over the world, playing Caribbean drums, African drums, the djembe for Afro-Caribbean groups across Toronto, and also being able to represent Toronto in Hong Kong in 2013. So, diving into the arts, no matter what it was, I just, felt myself just naturally excelling. But there was really like a couple art forms that really, I guess, caught my eye and attention over the years, which is painting, the arts, and, hair. And the day that I brought the two together, hair didn't become a job for me anymore. The designs that I did in hair just kind of became jewelry for me. And, it's not about, people will say, can you do a design? And I think it's about looking at the entire canvas and creating something that really works with them. A lot of times when they have something in mind, it looks cool on something else. And there's a lot of, stylists that might just lead to satisfying the client. But I was always like, no, you know what? Like, let's look at the canvas that's on. So why do you feel like, this design is for you? We might like it, but let's make it yours. And that's kind of the approach I always took with hair as well, once hair became an art form. So, I mean, this, sorry, I'm just looking back at some of these pieces, some of these styles, like, and this also comes with clients trusting you. This is years of just I guess, bringing these creations and their creations to life, communication, to a point where these clients just trust you to create, and they become your canvas for you to do that. So yeah, it's a place that I always wanted to be in here, and I was able to do that. And now, I decided to move and elevate it to this new lane, which I'm sure we will discuss.
Yeah, exactly. So this year is an interesting year for you because you go from the small scale of a coin to a playground. So tell me a bit about this experience and what you're after in the creation of a playground in Scarborough.
Okay, again, like, here it is that, I'm trying not to traditionally. I started in the galleries putting up paintings and being an artist on canvas, but it's not, that never really defined me. Paint never fully defined me. For me, I've dabbled in fashion. A lot of people don't know that. I've designed masks for years for some of the top bands. I've and I always try to incorporate different art forms, which is why I feel like this time around, as I really dive and try to advance in this art world, just take my art form to the places that are in my mind, where they live every day. And sometimes, we do shows as an artist, we get in shows and, the opportunity is grand. And sometimes we don't feel like we can really speak up for ourselves for those ideas, as weird as they are, because I think they got to be heard and they got to be fought for. And I'm trying to fight for a lot of different ideas and concepts I want to bring to Toronto and to the landscape of where I grew up, Scarborough. So when given the opportunity, the ArtTO opportunity this year, the theme was Scarborough, the backbone. And I thought, it'd be cool to just design a concept of a, backbone slide. It was a song that, Let Your Backbone Slide was a song I grew up with, loving hip hop myself as a young man, and seeing this song get to the heights that it did. Why not celebrate that in a cool space where we take the concepts of the song, which is, Let Your Backbone Slide, bring it to form, to an actual interactive thing. And, one of the first lines in the songs when he says, ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages. And, that kind of resonated with me because we need inclusive spaces. And I thought, why not bring that fun of music? You have the music chairs and a slide where you can sit down, and a space where you can sit down and read. And if you got kids, they can play a cool microphone and speaker climb set. And, that was from another line, which is stone cold lyrics from the microphone I'm holding. And I thought having these cool, like, stone-like figures of the microphone and the speaker with this kind of like sound wave coming out of it would kind of like really bring these lyrics to life that we all shared back in the day. And that became a Juno award-winning song, and was celebrated across Canada. So these are just some spaces that I see that I can like kind of jump in and add my like artistic creativity to, and just really show in a different way. and show what I have to bring to the landscape of Scarborough, Toronto.
That's amazing. So yeah, we can carry your art in our pockets, or we can experience it in full immersion in a playground. So that's really incredible. So what is next? I mean, after these two really visible and important projects, what do you wish to realize, or what do you have already on the go for the future?
You know, I really, and that thing we were going to talk about was this black brush, I guess kind of me stepping away from, stepping away from behind the chair and kind of living in that hair space as a visual artist. And I feel like I have a lot of stories to tell from that art space, and stories from community. One of the coolest things about, you know, standing up for like 25 years behind a barber chair is that you really you connect, and you're really communicating with that community, and every corner of community. And now this platform, this Black Brush, is not just an artistic platform, but we want to engage with community to really celebrate the arts, and you know, just create opportunity even in the arts, and opportunity to even have conversations surrounding the arts or through the arts. So this is just, every time I think I know what Black Brush looked like, it jumps into it. It just keeps on doing this, and I'm allowing it to grow, because watching this platform grow, and this amazing group of people just work and inject their creativity into community every day. I know when we show ourselves and let the city know who we are, it's going to hit. So yeah, that's what's up.
So there are some questions from the public, and I encourage everybody who, we still have a few minutes for a Q&A. So if you have any questions for Kwame, please put them in the Q&A feature so we can see them. So Lourdes is asking if you have participated in any international exhibitions. And Hildy was asking, where can your work be seen by the public?
Okay, so right now I do have just that slide that we spoke about, the park. It's displaying at Scarborough Town Center right now, but I do have some shows, exhibitions that I do plan. It'll be my first coming in a long time, in a few years, but I'm excited. I'm working on some really cool pieces that really tell my journey and my story. If you start following my social handles, you'll start seeing that story being told, of my upbringing and all these, you know, different art forms and through my family that I was exposed to. You know, I have to acknowledge my mom. My mom, you know, a lot of people see here in the community as well. She probably has the best ginger beer in Toronto. And she's an amazing seamstress and artist herself, and she still sells her fashion all over the city, and still plugging and just an artist at heart. So, you know, just seeing that and growing up and seeing my mom still, you know, I see people who don't even know it's my mom, and then when I'm holding the ginger beer, like, oh my gosh, you know. So yeah, that I have inspirations of just continuing to add my artistic touch, and I'm going to keep going.
Wonderful. So we have a question about how difficult it is as a Black artist to be recognized by institutions such as the ROM. And if one doesn't have a coin, how can one get galleries and institutions to support or be acknowledged?
Wow. Okay. Well, actually, the piece, we were actually showed a painting earlier with, it's a group of flowers. And that was actually shown at the ROM. I was a young artist, and there was an exhibition at the ROM. This is a 48 by 60 canvas. And I'll explain this piece to you. This show was around Caravana, and again, just challenging just the traditional thoughts of Black art. And this was my piece on someone playing pan, the steel drums, and the head of the individual is to represent a young flower, that the tradition still grows and gets passed on, and that tradition is kind of continued through music and song within our community. So, I was a young artist, and I just saw the opportunity. It was an open commission show. And a lot of times, it's not so far off for us to get these opportunities as young artists, as you said, without a coin, because they do host shows. And what I feel should happen is, I guess, more of a connect with these opportunities, I guess, in some of the communications that we read in the community, and awareness. And I'll do my part to try and bring some of that awareness to my community as well. But no, it is possible. So just keep your eyes out, and just stay positive.
And somewhat connected, if you want, to the image.
Connected. There we go. That's the word.
Yeah, no, but also Linda's question, it's about mentors. She's asking if you have any mentors that inspired you.
Oh, yes. And you know what? It's so crazy. One of my mentors is actually like a good friend. And I find mentors sometimes in my art friends. We feel like we got to search for mentors that are, so established and out there and accomplished. But, sometimes you have a friend that's just has that drive, and I have some really good art friends that, they're cool mentors to me because I can actually connect with them at any time and feed off of, their drive or energy, and ask them at times when, sometimes, that mentor, that you want so bad, you can't call at a time that you need, so sometimes that mentor is not so far away from you. And, someone close to you can offer you so much towards whatever you're doing. So yeah, there we go.
Wonderful. So Sandra Smith is asking, who chose the theme for the coin?
Okay, so the theme for the coin was presented to me, was chosen by the Canadian Mint. And again, the Underground Railroad, that was another, we spoke about that, challenges. That's a theme that we've seen a lot of. I've personally heard that story many times, but realized that I was hearing a very surface story for many years. So the coin cost allowed me to do research and dive really deep into the project and that story and the understanding of it and the different levels and layers of that story. So they chose that theme, and yeah, that, as an artist and as an artist taking a job, you take that theme and you sit down with it and you really try to make it your own and shine within that space. So
Wonderful. And Sandra is also asking, where is the playground being installed in Scarborough?
There's no place decided yet, and that's what's up. You know, I need everyone to really, you know, push for this. I will start pushing this out, and start to get some I guess some buzz around this and attention around this. But you know, I really need the people of Scarborough to make this thing happen, and yeah, to speak up for, you know, more spaces from young artists and Black artists like myself in these public areas.
Great. And maybe connected to this this question is Anissa was asking, can you speak more about how your upbringing in Scarborough factors into your work?
Oh man, wow, that must be someone from Scarborough. Wow. In Scarborough, once I got to Scarborough, my first art experience was in the West End, and when I really discovered like oil paints and stuff in a structured art class. And when I came to Scarborough very young. I think it was like grade 1 or something, and my parents immediately started enrolling me in a lot of the community programs because I just wanted to do everything. And I believe I was doing, you know, aside from sewing and watching drafting blueprints from my dad, I was playing drums. I was in Yamaha Music School. You know, Scarborough had a lot of arts programs at that time. Saturday arts, visual arts for the gifted. I believe it's Cedar Ridge art programs. So I was really involved in a lot of programs. Soccer was a huge part of my life as well, which helped to keep me fit. And, you know, and I realized how important that was in my life, you know, with, you know, an artist that, you know, suffers from anxiety, you know, without soccer in your life and those physical, you know, daily physical feats, you know, it helps with exercise. That's the word. It helps with these things. So it was really grounding, having that in my life as well. So I was really, that upbringing in Scarborough for me, I was, you know, I was in so many different, I guess, groups. And that's how I ended up knowing a large community of Scarborough. And then I started working in one of the top shops in Scarborough, I thought, in that time. And that was Curator. And from there, you know, you just really grow in a totally other different light. And, you know, that upbringing and all these different things I was doing just helped, you know, a lot in what you guys see today.
Great. Allison Hill is asking, what is the most challenging project that you have worked on and how did you grow from it?
The most challenging project I worked on must have been Hill Studio with Allison Griffin. It was, for me, I had already worked about 20, maybe 21 years in the barbershops, doing cutting men, but still having a large female clientele, more than the average barber. And, you know, that love of soccer, I got a bad injury and caused me to leave the barbering world. And it was just that it was really intense on my arm. But an opportunity was presented where, you know, I can expand that artistry and get into styling women, which wouldn't have me in that constant moving of the shoulder all the time. And, you know, I'd get a chance to style, which was a little easier and stuff, which didn't end up allowing me to rest my shoulder in the long run. But it was an amazing opportunity diving into a whole new world of hair. And then the shop became, you know, an all women space. And even adjusting for myself to be in that space and allow that to be a safe space. It was really cool and very, you know, very, I want to say, yeah, I learned so much, like very informative. And at that time, I realized that it was different because I had a chance to, again, look at each style like a canvas. You know, a woman would sit in my chair and say, well, what do you think? And here I am as the artist, like, wow, what do I think? Well, and yeah, I embraced that space and ended up growing and meeting an entire new community, making a whole new group of friends, and just applying even my skill as a barber for so many years to that, but then also adding that, just that touch, that pulling back and just understanding that touch of softness. And let me say this, that doesn't apply to everyone. Everyone is into a soft look, you know what I mean? But just, I should say, a look that really was unique to them. And that's what I really loved about that. And I got to create my time as a stylist that I wanted to work on people. And that was that moment when I walked away. I transferred from being a business to an art form. And also during that time though, I battled just that need to paint. You think something's holding you back, but nothing's really holding you back. It's just fear of leaving something else that you love. And, you know, those 3 years weren't difficult because of the people or the jobs that I had. It was just difficult internally. And I think a lot of times over my barbering career being, you know, I went through a couple of shops, not too many, but a few shops. And, you know, sometimes clients take that personal, but they don't understand that's an internal battle. Nothing to do with them. It's just that I want to paint sometimes. I want to cut hair sometimes, you know? And I think now I'm learning how to really make hair an art form. And the times I choose to cut, you know, I will do that and make it a thing. And the times I choose to paint, I'll do that. And I think the more that I get my creative ideas out there, the more that, you know, the community can see that, the less heat I might get for not being available for for certain cuts, you know. But yeah, no, that was a challenging time of my life. Thank you for that question, Allison.
So I guess the last question, that's there were many questions, some that you've already answered as you were answering other questions. Yeah, cool. But what will be the legacy you built that future generation of Black artists, children, and youth can be inspired by?
Wow. The legacy I want to build, I mean, through the actions that I already try and do daily is just that importance. I think that importance of being available and really, you know, you have to connect with community. You can't go forward and not, either bring community or, help to build or raise community with what you've learned, or where you've been. And I'm trying to, there's a great group of artists, and I really try to, in Toronto, Black artists doing amazing things. And, I try to connect with each and every one of them. But, one thing I do talk about is just like, how can we do something bigger? How can we not only just make awareness of what we're doing, because it's important. There's so many artists that just not understanding the arts in the community, right? They don't, or the community not understanding, them as an artist, they don't get the shine, they get the shine outside the community. And, but within that, that lens isn't really on them. And I'm like, we need that lens on more Black artists, because we need an understanding of the opportunity in the arts. And, it is possible to have a career and to carve your own career, to take charge of your career and be your own boss in the arts. So, once we understand the opportunities and see more successful people doing it, that's the kind of importance and legacy I want to really leave back, and artists after my time just following that, that's what's up.